Hello and welcome to my channel. So recently the Drugstore has been coming out with quite a lot of products. I've already featured some new ones in my not last but the video before, and I featured the new Catrice foundation, and I know there's been lots of other releases as well. But there are a couple of brands that keep intriguing me the most, and I think Catrice and Makeup Revolution and maybe NYX Cosmetics are basically the three drugstore brands that I like to shop from nowadays. Of course, there are probably many other releases, but these are the ones that I was personally interested in. So I got a couple more. And I thought, since they are very similarly typed, I have multiple eyeshadows, multiple lip oils. I have a dual powder, so we can use the one side on one side and the other on the other. I don't have a double thing for everything, and I don't have something for every step in my routine, but I'm getting there. And this wasn't even expensive. That's the good part of it, because Catrice and actually also Makeup Revolution are brands that still maintain their low price point. Of course, I also really like Essence, but for some reason their new foundation and concealer haven't been released here yet, so I'm quietly waiting for that. But now let's get into some nice drugstore goodies, and let's just hop right in. I thought I'd bring the ears back for today. Wouldn't that be fun? I kind of want to have my hair loose today. Also, this is a little bit of an experiment because it's 4:20 and the sun sets at 5:35. I have looked that up. So we should be good. I hope we are. I have two lights in front of me, so I think we're good. So I know I usually start with the eyes, and I could still do that. But since I have all this redness on my face and I do have a product to show you that combats that, I kind of want to start with that. But first things first, let's start with a primer. I have a couple of options here and a couple of them are really intriguing as well. I have the Vitamin Base Primer from Revolution, which is of course inspired by the, what's it called? Vitamin Enriched Face Base by Bobbi Brown. I've heard that it's not really similar, but I don't really care about duping anyway. And then I also have the Smoothing Plumping Primer Concentrate, and this little thing got me intrigued. It's not expensive or anything, but it is a smaller tube. So yeah, let's just try those out. And then I also have an all over glow tint, but I'm not sure if I'll use that as a base or as a highlighter. So this is what the little jar from the Revolution looks like. I've been really excited to try out primers lately. Maybe it has something to do with me testing foundations. Some foundations just work better with certain primers. Oh, by the way, if you're new here, hi, my name is Cecile. I live in the Netherlands and I try to upload twice a week with makeup and fashion content. So if you like this video, if you like drugstore makeup or any of these brands, or if you like other types of makeup, because I do like indie and luxury and high-end makeup as well, I just can't afford it all the time. But I do review it from time to time and I do own a lot of it, so it does come by. So if you like any of that, then subscribe. We have a lot of fun here. So this is what it looks like. Oh, it's very hard. Well, it's harder than I was thinking. So let me just put this on this side of the face. Okay, this feels nice actually. Just working it into my face. It's not as oily as I was expecting. I heard someone describe it as oily. And it's not as thin as I was expecting either. It's quite heavy. But it almost transforms into something really lightweight once you blend it out. It doesn't really give me an excessive amount of shine, but it does make my skin feel really good. It was a little bit inflamed, and I feel like maybe it doesn't look a lot better, but it feels a lot better. But of course the true test will be how it works underneath makeup. So for the other side, let's try this Smoothing Primer Concentrate. So I thought maybe when it arrived that it was supposed to be an under eye primer, but the thing with this is Probably just that you have to use a little bit less. So let's just see. Ooh, this one feels cooling. And honestly, it does really spread far. So maybe you do actually only need a little bit. Yeah, this side is definitely wetter and cooler than this side. And this side feels a little bit velvety. Like there's a softness to it, but it's not completely dry, but almost. And this one definitely feels a little bit more sticky and a little bit more dewy. Interested to see how that works out. I think we're going to try the All Over Glow Tint as a highlighter only, because I already am trying 2 different primers today. So let's get into something that I only have one of, but that does exist of 2 sides. So we have the Color Corrector by Makeup Revolution, and I thought it was genius that they came out with this. The only thing is, they had one with green and yellow, which is the one I got, and then they had one with peach and red. But I've always learned that whether you need red or peach mainly depends on your skin tone. So if you have a deeper skin tone, you would use the red, and otherwise you would, if you have a lighter skin tone, you would use the peach. That's what I've learned. So I don't really understand who that product is for, unless you're using it on others, of course. But I could see a point for both the yellow and the green in my routine. And I already have a peach corrector, so it's fine. I don't actually have any of these. So this is what it looks like. I think it's really cute. It was quite affordable, as all of this is. About 5-6 euros. So as you can see, and that's why I wanted to film today after all, because it is a little bit later, but I have a lot of redness today. I have angry skin. I have also this place here, and I also feel like the places that aren't really red look very dull, and that's exactly what the yellow one is for. So let's give it a try. I'll add some green over there. Oh, over there, of course. A little bit over here. I'll also do this little thing. I'll do half of my nose. Yeah, I basically have a lot of redness. And then on the other side, I'll start with the yellow. And I feel like I can use a lot of yellow here, because this is just, I often feel like this part of me looks a little bit gray even, or green. And I'm also putting this underneath the eyes, and let's see what that does. And then a little bit over here. So basically, anywhere that I didn't put any red corrector or green corrector, I put the yellow corrector. And I think this may be a little bit much, but I don't know. It could make for a fun thumbnail. So I picked out 2 clean brushes. These are actually clean. I have this one, which is a foundation brush. This one's actually also a foundation brush, but I use it as a concealer brush. I think this will work best. I'm going to use this one for the green, the other one for the yellow. I think the green tint in these is so strong. Well, maybe it's not that bad. I thought that my cheek was actually looking a little bit green there. I think I should use not too much, and then it's fine. It does help. I mean, this is definitely a lot less red than that side is. And then let's see what the yellow does. Oh, you should probably not let these sit as long as I did. Yeah, these are a bit of a drier formula. So I don't think you're supposed to leave them on for that long. And also, I think this yellow, of course I used way too much, you can see that. But I also think that it's a little bit too dark. Maybe for my skin tone. It just, yeah, of course it's difficult to see when I use this much. I do feel like if I do like this side looks a lot more healthy than this side. Yeah, of course this will get corrected by the foundation. It is an underneath corrector, so please excuse my aggressive application of these products. I'll try and do a little bit less on the reversed sides. So I'll use just a little bit of the green, which I think I should have done in the beginning. And then I'll use maybe a little bit of yellow there. Nothing here. I don't think it really needs it after all. But I am using a little bit here. I think that is... Oh, and of course, a little bit here. I don't think this yellow works as well as a peach does. It's supposed to correct purple tones. So yeah, now I'm blending it out right away. And that definitely makes a big difference. I should have looked at my brushes first. And also I'm using a lot less so I can spread it out more. And I mean, that's a lot better as well. So I think this is more what it's supposed to look like. And then let's see how a little bit of the green behaves. Oh yeah, that little bit on my forehead made it look really naturally less red. I think on my cheeks it didn't work as well with fewer product. But honestly, my redness, it looks very extreme, but it's usually covered well enough by foundation. So I don't often need a color corrector. I don't think I would use it underneath my eyes. I think it didn't really help. But I do think it really helped with this part over here, which often looks a little bit gray, and here around my mouth. And then I think the green one was really good for my nose and my cheeks and a little bit on my forehead and my chin. So yeah, I do really like this product. Just my advice would be to work a little bit quicker with it than I did and to use a little bit less than this. Do this. So with that out of the way, let's add some foundation to this. I'm going to add foundation and concealer off camera just to make sure that the video isn't quite as long. I'll be right back. So I'm back and this is what we're looking like. I applied my NARS Light Reflecting Foundation in the shade Gobi. I chose this one specifically because I usually like the way it looks, but it does benefit from a nice primer. And the coverage isn't that high, so I could see good enough whether this color corrector was still visible underneath. But then I did use my Benefit Buoyant Concealer because I knew I needed a bit of a higher coverage to cover all that yellow underneath my eyes. And now that that is done, I also did my brows, by the way. I think this looks really good. Honestly, this foundation looks a lot more flawless on me than it usually does. I do like this side better than this side. I do think there's a little bit of yellow coming through, especially at the edges where it also got in my hair. And underneath my eyes, I'm not sure how, but it did help brighten, even though it was a yellow and not a peach. But especially right here on my forehead and around my mouth, I do think it looks a lot more flawless than when I usually use this foundation. Honestly, when I got on camera, I felt like I was wearing the Huda Beauty faux filter or something with a little bit more glow. Talking about glow, I do believe there is quite a bit more radiance coming from this side. It's not that much, but it's noticeable. So I think that's where the primer comes in. And I think my pores and everything are equally visible on both sides. So that's my view on the primers right now. The NARS foundation does need something to grip and slide a little bit better, how contradictory that may sound. It really needs both those things for me. So apparently both these primers do that for it. So now let's get into some cream blushes. I actually have two from the same brand. So I have one from, well, they're both from Catrice. I have the Cheek Flirt Face Stick. And I have their even newer, ooh, this is limited edition apparently, the Cream to Powder Blush. This is in the shade Worth It, and this is in the shade Rock and Rose. And I was mainly interested in this one. I know it looks a little bit like the Charlotte Tilbury one, but the packaging is very different. And, well, I like both of them. I don't have the Charlotte Tilbury one, but I like the appeal of this one. Of course, the shade is very different between these two. That's another good thing about filming a little bit later in the day. You don't feel as bad when you take it off right away. So this is the non-cream to powder, just the regular cream. I'm putting that on this side. It's very thick. It drags a little bit. Also putting this on my nose. And I have a feeling I'm going to need to blend this out relatively quickly. So I just take my regular buffing brush for that. I use this as a blush brush. And this stick blush has been out a little bit longer, but it was sold out. Alright, I like the stick blush. I like the natural finish. I like the amount of color that comes off. It's not too much, not too little. Now let's look at this little thing. It does have a mirror and it's supposed to be cream to powder. Ooh, it feels really emollient. It really feels very different from that stick. So let's just add a little bit of this. And this one I'm just going to tap in. I have a feeling that this is the kind of formula that disturbs foundation when you do it with a brush. So I'm adding a little bit more. This one has less coverage than the other one. It's a little bit more oily, but it does set down to kind of a similar finish as this one. They're both not extremely glowy, but also not completely matte. And honestly, the color, I like this one more, but I think this one suits me more. These pinky tones, they're really cute, but they don't really suit a more yellow skin tone, especially not when you put extra yellow on the side. So maybe that's why this side is looking a little bit better. I'm going to add even a little bit more, just to see what that would do. I really like this little thing. I like the color more. I do. I like this color more. I think this is cute and fresh and stuff, but I think this one looks prettier on me. It does give me that Charlotte Tilbury vibe actually. And I like the fact that it has a mirror. I like the way it feels. It feels a little bit more luxury to me. Of course, it is very cheap plastic and, well, it wasn't, it was quite affordable. I think it was like €3. So really, really well done. They had 2 shades. I kind of feel like I maybe need the other one as well. The other one looked to be quite a bit darker as well. So maybe in the same sort of shade range, but a little bit deeper. So even in that sense, it's quite similar to the Charlotte Tilbury, I'm realizing now. So yeah, I don't really talk about dupes on my channel. I don't care. I like the high-end stuff and I like the cheap stuff, but I really like the performance of this one. And it did set down. This one is a little bit more sticky. Not too much, but still, you can still feel it. And this one actually feels like powder, almost. And they do give, well, this one is a little bit more pigmented. So now let's get into another Makeup Revolution product. I'm really excited about this one. I saw Makeup by Alex Kate use this quite a while ago actually, but we finally got it here as well. Because this is a duo face powder. And I just thought that was so cool. I usually use pressed powders. Look at how cool this looks. But sometimes I want a little bit more on some places and a little bit less on others. So this is the pressed side. And then you twist it open. And then there's a loose powder in here. And another great thing about this is that sometimes I do wonder what the real difference between the two is. And then I can never really do a proper comparison because the loose powder is always a different brand and a different style of powder than the pressed powder. But these are the same powders, if I'm not mistaken, only pressed and loose. So on this side I'm going to do the loose powder and on this side I'm going to do the pressed powder. So I'm not going to powder my whole face, I never do. What I do is I like to tap out the creases underneath and on top of my eyes. In this case, I also used concealer on top of my eyes. And I used this little powder brush by Real Techniques. Okay, so the loose powder mattifies quite a bit. You can definitely see that the shine from that blush is suddenly gone. Let me also put a little bit on my forehead. I like the color. It's actually translucent on me at least. I'm not sure. I think there are different shades, so no problem if this is too light. It's set down well. Feels a little bit dry underneath my eyes, but it does look very smooth. And it's not uncomfortably dry. Yeah, that's the word. So I'm screwing this back. It's quite a big container, by the way. It's very light. It feels very cheap. But I do like the aesthetic of it. Oh, it does have a little mirror. So on the other side, I'm using the pressed powder. I usually just like the convenience of a pressed powder. It also takes up way less space in your makeup bag. But sometimes I feel like a good loose powder can really blur the skin. Alright, so this is the two sides. If I'm feeling underneath my eyes, yeah, this one definitely feels a little bit drier. I tried to use a similar amount of product. And yeah, this side definitely feels more set down, especially around my eyes. But yeah, also on my cheeks, so just in general. And this side did leave a little bit more glow. So I think that's what the main difference is here. The loose powder will set down more fully and more quickly. And the pressed powder will leave a little bit of room for glow and build. That's at least what I'm thinking about it right now. But I'm really excited to have this. Oh, I now realized that we have a liquid highlighter and that I already powdered. But that's going to be fine. I'm quickly going to use a little bit of bronzer. This is one from Clinique. This is their True Bronze. This is just what I have on hand. So now that we've powdered and bronzed, let's see if there's still a little bit of blush visible. So yeah, I definitely feel like the blush on my nose still looks really cute, really good. This also looks really smooth and still quite pink. And then this side, I do like the way it looks. I do think it disappeared a little bit more on me. And also I feel like when I added the loose powder over here, all my pores just sort of disappeared. Well, over here, not so much. So that could be another advantage of the loose powder. Also, I think the coverage of this blush is a little bit lower because I can still see a little bit of my spots underneath. I still really like that blush. I just don't think you're supposed to put a lot of powder on top of it. So I'm just going to risk it and try a little bit of this liquid highlighter. Just putting a very little dot on my finger. And since I only have one, I'm just going to use it on both sides. So I thought this was going to be a bigger tube and this was going to be meant more as a primer underneath foundation, like the Hollywood Flawless filter. But I think it's actually more of a liquid highlighter that you're supposed to use more concentrated. It looks really good. I think it would have looked better and maybe a little bit more smooth, not on top of powder, but I do like it. I'll keep testing that one out. I'll try lots of these things in other new drugstore videos as well. Give them second chances, third chances. And of course, I'll start doing speed reviews soon. So then I'll show you what it would look like if I use a little bit more. But right now I don't want to disturb the powder. So let's quickly finish up this face before it becomes too dark. So I have two eyeshadow palettes here. I couldn't choose. I was so intrigued by both of these and they were so affordable. So I have two of their chocolate themed palettes from Makeup Revolution, or this is I Heart Revolution. And I think this is their Valentine's Day collection, and I bought a very light one and a very deep one. And of course I'm going to mix them. Probably, ideally, because I like really light and really deep shades. But I mainly wanted to see what this shade would look like. So for today, I'm only going to use one. I'm sorry, I wanted to use one on the one eye and one on the other, but I think it's going to be very obvious what the difference is going to be, right? Even though this one does contain a couple of deeper shades, this one goes way deeper. So I'm going to reserve this one for another video and test it together with the Catrice and also with another lip gloss that I got, and test the powder on top. Well, you know what? I'm testing all of these things again. So for today, I'm going to use this palette, which is called White Vanilla Cream. And I'm going to do quite a simple eye look. I want to see if that white really sparkles the way I think it will. So this is what the palette looks like. If you can see, there are beveled edges around some of them, like they're little chocolate blocks. I really like that. The two shades with the beveled edges, I think those are mattes. And for some reason, I thought the quality of these was going to be a little bit better. And that could be because that Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse palette that I tried recently, I actually really like the quality of that one. I just thought the color story left something to be desired, and that was depth. So when I saw this really, really dark, smoky truffle chocolate palette from them, for like €5, I thought I really wanted to try it. And this looks really good as well. I think this is actually my perfect crease shade. So I really think that they meant all these palettes to be for certain skin tones, at least that is what I would assume. But of course you can use whatever you want. And I wanted the lightest one and the deepest one. So I'm using that slightly deeper brown now. This is also a little bit more of a mustardy color. And I'm just intensifying whatever it is I'm doing. A very basic brown eye, I guess. So now I'm taking a pencil brush and I'm going into that really pretty white shade. And it is not a pressed glitter. It almost looks like one, and oh, there's a surprise. It has a duochrome pink to it. This is exactly what I was hoping for. Well, I wasn't expecting pink and I wasn't hoping for pink. But I was hoping that it wasn't a pressed glitter, but that it had something special and glittery about it without being glitter. And I think this definitely has it. So I think this is a nice little Valentine's Day surprise if you buy this palette. It is a very light pink. So I do think it really matches the vibe of the palette. Just putting a little bit of that underneath my eyes. I really think this is really pretty. There's a little bit of fallout from that last shade. But usually I would do my eyes first, so it wouldn't be a problem. Then I'm taking my finger and I'm going into this shade over here, which looks like a taupe, but it could be a little bit pink as well. Oh, this one does not do a lot. Oh, this is actually a lot lighter than I was expecting. This could be a really pretty inner corner shade as well. Look, it's actually almost a pearly white. And it's really not as pigmented. Of course, it would benefit from a more sticky eye base, so you can't really blame it for not gripping perfectly on a set eyelid with powder. But it is definitely slightly different in color than I was expecting. So now I'm also taking that other shade, which is definitely a lot deeper. And I'm going to put that together with that shade. Yeah, this one is deeper. And this one is a lot more pigmented. So I used a little bit more over there, a little bit less over here. I think I like this more. But of course I'll need to match it. All right. Now this is an interesting little palette. I like the look that I created like this. There is a little bit of fallout over here. But yeah, that happens with a lot of palettes. I don't really care about that usually. Usually I would just do my eyes first. I'm quickly putting a gold eyeliner. This one is from Chanel, but well. And then I'm taking a brown eyeliner. This one is from Essence to tight line. And then I'm taking some brown mascara. This is a very deep brown one from Clinique. And then finally, I'm going to clean up my mouth because we have 2 lip oils to test. I'm really excited about these two. So I had my eye on this NYX lip oil for a little while. This is the lip drip fat oil. I thought it was really cool, but it was a little bit more expensive, like $9.50. So I held off on it. But well, I guess it's almost my birthday, so I kind of bought these things for my birthday. So this is the one I have chosen. This is in the shade Scrollin'. And then I saw that Makeup Revolution also came out with a lip oil, which was about half the price. And it's actually a little bit bigger. And I really like the color of this one. So this is the Glaze lip oil with cherry seed oil and hyaluronic. So this has a cherry scent as well, so I thought that would be really nice. And this is in the shade Glam Pink. So I'm not going to do this side by side, I don't think, but I will try them both right now and see which one I like better. Or shall I do side by side? I'll try it. So this is the NYX one. I thought this would be really pretty to combine with some of my darker brown lipsticks and lip liners. So this is a really thick gloss, or lip oil. I like the amount of color that it has. It is a little bit more warm toned than I was hoping, but I think on top of a brown lip liner this is going to look really pretty. I like the way it's not too sticky. What I don't like is that the doe foot is actually, or the applicator is really stuck in there, so you have to pull it quite hard and then not quite a lot of product comes out. That would be my minus at the moment, but you can see that it looks really nice. Then the other side I would most definitely wear with a lip liner because, well, this is probably very see-through. Oh, it does have a great scent. This is a lot more liquidy, a lot more sheer, and a lot less impactful, I must say. So I like the way that I almost created a slightly bigger lip line with the NYX oil because it was more pigmented. And I also like the way that, because it's a little bit thicker, it almost pulls my lips outward a little bit. It feels like it juiced them up a little bit. Well, this one feels nice. It does feel a lot more oily actually. But apart from that, it doesn't really do a lot, besides smelling really good. So this is just a quick first impression, but I think I really like that NYX lip oil. And this one, I'm curious to see how this would do on top of a lipstick, because it does feel very greasy. This feels like an actual oil, while this feels more like a lip gloss oil hybrid. So for today, I'm just going to add my NYX oil to both sides. I do like this applicator. The applicator on both of them is actually quite good. I do like the NYX one a little bit more because it's curved. I just think this is more the product that I want. I want a nice, slightly thick, not greasy, not too greasy, not sticky, but nice and volumizing, glossy lip product. I know that's a lot of demands, but I think NYX did it. So this is my finished look. I think overall, with the loose powder over here and the pressed powder over here, this side looks a lot more matte and this side looks a lot more glowy. Could also be the primer, but until I applied the powder, this side actually looked more glowy than this side. So I'll keep testing them, of course. I think the real stars of the show today were the lip oil and the eyeshadow palette. But I honestly really liked all of these products. I think all of these products are going to get a nice place in my makeup collection and also in my makeup application, because some of these things, like this one for instance, or this one, a translucent loose powder, I didn't have. So now I do, and I'm very excited about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I see the sun is starting to set. I hope the quality was still fine. Next time I'll start a little bit earlier. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one.